All right, guys, today we are going to start 6.3, the percent equation. If you would, please write down this lovely formula for us. If you would, also put it into a red fluffy cloud. Help me to know, guys, P stands for percent, and I need to change the percent to a?
Decimal.
Very good. The of is always going to be the whole, and the is will always be our? Part. Very good. Now you will see some problems that look exactly like what we did yesterday. It says to write and solve an equation to answer the question. Let's take out our red pens. We're going to underline and circle the three parts. Remember, we're looking for our is, our of, and our P. I'm going to underline first what number is. What should I circle, class? 24%. And now the underline is going to be? Of 50. Yesterday we did something called the percent proportion. It said is over of equals P over 100. Today we're using a new formula. The new formula, repeat after me, P times of equals is.
P times of equals is.
Excellent. So we're going to take our P, which stands for percent, but in our notes we just wrote that we have to change the percent to a decimal. So 24%, if you remember, we learned this before. There's an imaginary decimal point right here. I have to move it 2 times to the left. So what would this be? 0.24. So now for the P, we are going to plug in 0.24. Autumn, do we know what our of is?
Yeah.
What is it?
50.
Good job. So we have 0.24 times 50. Halen, do we know what our is? No. So we're just going to put an X. All you have to do now is multiply these together to figure out what our X is or what our is going to be. Michaela, what's 0.24 times 50?
1,200.
I think you might have forgotten to change that to a decimal. You got to have 0.24. Try it one more time. What's 0.24 times 50? 12. Very good. So 12 is X. Should I add a percent sign to the end of my 12, class? No. If you go back, it says what number is 24% of 50, so I just want the answer to be 12. Let's go on to the next one. What number is 150% of 40? Help me, Jonathan. What should I underline and circle? What number is? Very good. Excellent. I want everyone to write down our new formula, P times of equals is. This is our percent equation. Reagan, what do I need to do with my percent?
Plug it into the P.
Plug it into the P. So should I put it in as 150%?
Yeah.
What did our notes say to do to the P at the very top? Change it to a decimal. So we're going to move that 2 times to the left. And what is your decimal?
1.50.
1.50. Very good. Jace, what is my of? Okay, so I'm multiplying it times 40. And to Kobe, what's my is? Your is X. Okay, now all you need to do is multiply that out. Jocelyn, when you do that, what do you get? X equals 60. All right, on to the next one. Let me have Ellie. What should I underline and circle?
You circle 9.5 is, and then circle what percent, and then underline.
Excellent. Class, what is the percent equation we've been using today? P times of equals is. Excellent. Ellie, tell us what to plug in.
For of, you'll plug in 25. And then for is, you'll plug in 9.5. And then the percent is blank.
Okay, the percent is blank, so we're just going to keep it there as a P. How do I get P by itself? What's not allowing the P to be alone? Good job. We're going to divide by 25 on both sides. .38. Ellie, should I leave my answer as 0.38? No, I need to change it to a, how do I change a decimal to a percent? Good job. And what are you left with? 38. 38% is correct. Who would like to do the next one for me? Reagan, go ahead. Tell me what to circle and underline.
So underline 3 is, circle what percent, and then underline of 600.
Excellent. And we're using our percent equation, so what is that?
P times of equals is.
Good job. And you always want to write that down just because right now it's giving us good practice to remember and memorize what the percent equation is. All right, back to Reagan.
So for the P, just put a P, and then the of is 600. And the is 3.
Okay, how do I get the P by itself?
Divided by 600. Equals 200.
Okay, you said equals 200. If I was doing equals 200, you did 600 divided by 3. But remember, you want to start with your numerator and divide it by the denominator.
0.03.
Point zero
0.05.
0.05. Is that what you got? Look at your calculator one more time. 3 divided by 600.
Oh,
Okay? Do I want to keep it like that?
no.
No, I need to change that to a percent. So how do I change that decimal to a percent?
Move the decimal 2 times to the right.
Good job. And now what are you left with?
0.5%.
0.5 what? 0.5% is correct. All right, Halen, help me with the next one. 39 is 52% of what number?
So you underline 39 is, and you circle 52%, and you underline of 1. And you want me to do it?
Mhm.
Oh.
Go ahead and keep going.
So first you write the 1 of,
Okay, P times of equals is?
and then 50, since 52 is our percent, you put 52 first, and then you put times, we don't know, like, yeah, we don't know the of, so you put x, and then it's equal 39. 'cause that's-
Okay, there's one thing that's not correct so far. Can anyone help identify what went wrong? Abigail.
She didn't put a decimal.
Okay, you always have to change that percent to a decimal when you're using the percent equation, otherwise you'll get the wrong answer, okay? So what should we change that to, Halen?
152.
Good job, 0.52. Now how do I get that x by itself? By? Not by 52, 0.52.
It's 75.
75. Should I put a percent sign there? No, it says 39 is 52% of what number? The number is 75. All right. Let's do another one together. 90 is 180% of what number? Abigail, what should I underline and circle?
Underline 90 is circle 180% and underline of the number.
Very good. Let's start with writing our equation. Tell me again, guys, what's the equation?
P times of equals
Good job. Back to Abigail.
You change the 180% to a decimal,
Okay, what would it be as a decimal?
1.80.
1.80 or 1.8, either one is fine. Times of, what's your of?
Don't know the of, so we have to put it at x.
Good job. Equals is,
90.
very good. How do I get x by itself?
You have to divide by 1.80.
Okay, what's your answer?
50.
What'd you get? 50. Should I put a percent sign? No, once again, it's just asking me for a number, so the number is 50. Okay, so on the next page, we've got a modeling real life type problem. It says your school raised 150% of its fundraising goal. Guys, if you have a goal, what number is your goal? What percentage? 100%. So if you get 150%, are you happy or are you sad?
Happy.
You're happy. Why are you happy? You got above your goal. Okay, so this school is very happy. They raised above their goal. They got $8,000. Their goal was lower than that, but they exceeded their goal. So we want to figure out what was their goal. What were they trying to raise for their school? So we're going to use our same formula that we've been using today. P times of equals is. If you remember, I told you one of these, the of and the is, one is the part and one is the whole. Which one is the part? The is, the of, or the P? That is. Take your red pen just to remind ourselves, and I want you to put it right here to tell us that is the part. So guys, what's the whole? The of. Okay, so let's just talk this through to see the percent. Do we know what percent they raised? 150%. With the percent equation, I have to change that into a decimal. So what is 150% as a decimal? 1.50, 1.50, or 1.5. Times of. We are trying to figure out the whole total that was their goal. Do we know what their total goal was? No. So we're going to put an X. We don't know that yet. We're trying to find it. Do we know what part they raised? How much did they raise? $8,000. And now we have a normal looking problem like we've been doing today. Jace, how do I get X by itself? Divide by what? Okay, 1.50 or 1.5? All right, I want you guys to write down what the answer is. All right, Luke, what'd you get? 8,000 divided by 1.50. Okay, 0.33333 repeating. Guys, how many numbers am I supposed to have after a decimal point with money? 2, whenever you have money. So I am going to be able to get rid of the 3 and the 3. And this is money, so what should be at the beginning? Dollar sign. Be careful. A lot of people have been putting their dollar sign at the end. Dollar signs always go at the beginning of your answer. Okay, so they had an interesting goal, $5,333.33. Did they exceed their goal?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They raised more money and they got $8,000. All right, modeling real life. You are paying for lunch and you receive the following bill. How many of you guys enjoy going out to eat? Who has a favorite restaurant? What's yours? Longhorn. Who else has another one? Gators Dockside. Tell your partner what your favorite restaurant is that you like to go out to. All right, so you can see here this person has chosen to go to their favorite restaurant, which is 8th Street Cafe. I want us just to look at a few things we see on here. They have a food total. How much was their food total? $27.50. Then they have something called tax. Guys, who does the tax go to? The government, okay? And then this person had a total that they had to pay right there, which was $29.15. This is what the question has asked us. Find the percent of sales tax on the food total. So they ate $27.50 worth of food, but they had to pay $1.65 for tax. We want to figure out what percent of their total bill they had to pay for tax. So we're going to use our percent equation as we've been using today. Guys, what's the percent equation?
P times of equals is.
Very good. P times of equals is. Remember, with this, which one is the part and which one is the whole? The is the part and the of is the whole. Okay, and then the P stands for the percent. Very good. Do we know what percent we had to pay for sales tax? No, so we're going to keep that as a P. Next up, do we know the whole amount that we paid for the food?
Yes.
How much was the food total?
$29.67.
Okay, we're going to do the food total before the tax, which was $27.50. So we have to multiply that times $27.50. The next part over here, the is the part. That's the part that we had to pay for tax. Guys, how much did we have to pay for tax?
$1.65.
$1.65. So now this looks like a normal problem. We're trying to get the P by itself so that we can figure out what percent we had to pay for sales tax. How would I do that, Jocelyn?
You would divide
Divide by?
to 27
$27.50. When you do that, Jocelyn, what do you get? 0.06. Which one of those zeros can I get rid of, Jocelyn?
The one on the outside.
The one on the left side, okay? So I've got 0.06. Change that to a percent, and what do you get? 6% is correct. All right, so you had to pay 6% for sales tax. Okay, so the next part, same idea. We still have the same bill here, $27.50 for the total of food, $1.65 for the tax. But on top of that, you are going to leave a 16% tip on the food total, okay? Do you think it's nice to leave a tip for someone?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to tell you, I used to work at Cracker Barrel. When I worked there, I got paid like $3 and something cents an hour. Where do you think my money as a waitress came from?
Tips.
The tips, okay? So that's why you want to be generous. You want to be kind to those waiters and waitresses because that's part of their income. That's how they get their money, okay? So we're going to do the same idea that we've been using today. P times of equals is. All right? Do we know what percent we have chosen to give them as a tip? We're going to give them a 16% tip. I have to change that percent to a,
Decimal.
which would be
0.16.
0.16. Times of, that's times the food total that we paid only for the food. How much did we pay for the food?
$27.50.
$27.50. Now we're trying to find the is, which is our part, which would be considered the tip, okay? So multiply those together and you can figure out how much you chose to give as a tip. All right, guys, I know we're using calculators, but give it back to me as dollars and cents. How much did you leave as a tip? $4.40, okay? Because if it says 4.4, remember you have to add the 0 to the end. So $4.40, I want you to put equals your tip. Is that my final answer?
No.
No, it's asking you up here to find the total amount you pay for lunch, including your tax and including your tip. So I want you guys to add together how much you paid for your bill, add in how much you paid for your tax, add in how much you paid for your tip. And this will give you the total amount that you paid for lunch. Go ahead and do that on your own right now. All right, guys. The bill, we can see over here, the food total that I had to pay was $27.50, okay? Next up, we were adding in the tax. How much did we figure out the tax was going to be? $1.65. And then we were going to add in the tip. How much did you guys say we gave for a tip? $4.40. How many of you would say you have added that all up together and you know the total? What is the total, class?
$33.55.
$33.55 is correct. Listen, the moral of the story is, if you do not have enough money to go out and to leave your kind waiter or waitress a tip, go through a drive-through somewhere else instead, because these waiters and waitresses need good tips. All right, go out, be generous, be kind.
But what if they're bad?
All right, we're going to look at this first problem. 14 is what percent of 70? Yesterday we know we used the percent proportion. Today we are using the percent equation. But I want to show you that you're going to get the same answer no matter how you use it or what method you use. So let's underline and circle these different things. 14 is, that's going to be my is, what percent we're looking for, and of 70 is my of. First things first, class, do we know what the is going to be?
Yes.
What is it?
14.
14. So anywhere that I see, I'm just going to plug in over here, 14 is my is, and over here, 14 is also my is. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Do we know what our of is going to be?
Yes.
Yes, of 70. So I'm going to plug in that 14 over 70. And I'm going to also plug in here multiply by 70. Do we know what our P is?
No.
No. Notice here we are going to be looking for what the percent is. We're looking for the P, we're looking for the P. So all I'm going to do is keep equals P over 100 and multiply it times P. Let's work on the left side first. Guys, how can I find that answer to solve for P?
Cross product.
Cross products, okay? So we are going to multiply these together and multiply that together. So we've got 70 times P equals 14 times 100. On the right side, how do I get this P by itself? Divide it by 70. Okay, so let's work on this. For those of you who did it this way with the percent equation, what is 14 divided by 70? 0.2. Okay, now I want to turn that into a percent. So those of you who did it this way, how do I do that?
You move 2 places to the right.
2 places to the right, and what's your answer? 20, and thank you for remembering to say 20%. All right, let's come back to those who did the percent proportion. We've got 70 times P equals, what's 14 times 100, class? 1,400, 1,400. We've got to divide by 70. What is 1,400 divided by 70? 20, and then you want to put your percent. Guys, did we get the same answer? Yes. Yes, so on your midterm, I will not care which way you do it. You choose which way you want, okay? So I want you guys to do question number 2 on your own. You may do it either way, the percent proportion or the percent equation. All right, here we go, guys. What number is 36% of 85? I'm going to use P times of equals is. How many of you would say you did it this way? Okay, I have to change the 36% to a decimal, which would be?
36.
0.36. What's my of?
85.
85. What's my is?
X.
X. Guys, what's 0.36 times 85?
30.6.
30.6 is correct, and that is my final answer. All right, for the final one, this is something we talked about way back at the beginning of the school year. It says find the distance between the two numbers on a number line. I want you to talk to your partner about what this answer is. Okay, so I have drawn a number line up here if you want to use a number line, but you do not have to use a number line. I taught you long ago you take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number. What's the bigger number out of 4 and 9? 9. So you could just do 9 minus the smaller number 4. Guys, what's 9 minus 4? 5. Okay, so the correct answer is 5. Or you could have started at 4 and hopped over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you got to the 9, and you hopped over 5 times. Okay, let's go on to problem B. The distance between -2 and +7. As I walked around, some people got 5 because they just did 7 minus 2. Be careful. You take the bigger number. What's the bigger number, guys? 7. And then you have to minus the smaller number. What's the smaller number? -2. What do you see there? A double negative, which tells us to add it together. Guys, what's 7 plus 2? 9. Here's another way you can see it as a visual. Listen, if I'm trying to get from a -2 to a +7, you have to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots to get there. Okay? All right. Tonight there is no homework, and that is the end of our lesson.